Hey guys, Mark here. Welcome. In today's tutorial, we are braiding a kumihimo dog leash using the Kara Yatsu braid. For the cordage, I'm going to be using 4 pieces of Paracord 550. For a 4-foot long leash, each of my 4 pieces is 19 feet long. I'm going to be using 2 pieces of different colors for the main pattern and 2 of the same color for the background, so secondary color. To attach your leash onto a dog collar, you're either going to need a carabiner or a snap hook. To do our main braid, we're going to be using a kumihimo disc. Before we can begin braiding our main Kara Yatsu braid, we need to hook our 4 strands into the kumihimo disc, as well as attach a snap hook at the start of our braid. I'm going to show you one way of doing this, which in my opinion looks good. Grab your first cord, fold it in half. This one is in the secondary color. Place the middle point to the center of the disc. Hook the 2 ends at the top. Grab your second cord, fold it in half. This one is in my primary pattern color. Hook your cord through your first cord, pull it through, then hook the 2 ends at the bottom. Now, grab your snap hook, unhook this bottom end, feed it through the snap hook. Then, place the end back into its slot. Unhook this top end, feed it through the snap hook, then rehook at the top, and this is what you got. The snap hook is at the center of the 2 bites. Now attach the remaining 2 cords. The third one, fold it in half. This one is in the primary pattern color. Hook the 2 ends onto the sides. Grab your final cord, fold it in half. This one is in the secondary color. Place the middle point to the center of the disc. Hook the 2 ends to the sides below the 3rd strand. Place the ends off to the sides. And you're ready to do your braiding. We are now going to be braiding the Kara Yatsu braid. This braid is going to form the length for our leash. Usually, I do my braiding standing up since the long ends are a bit easier to handle. The braid is done in 5 distinct steps. Step 1. Cross the top 2 strands to the side. Step 2. Cross the bottom 2 strands to the side as well. Step 3. Move these 2 strands to the bottom. Step 4. Move these 2 strands to the top. And step 5. Move these 2 sets of strands together. Then simply repeat. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Once in a while, untangle your ends. Then simply continue, exactly the same way. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Let's do it one more time, then skip to the next step. So step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. To create a nice consistent braid, I do my braiding tightly. So when braiding, I keep tension on my ends so everything is tight on the disc. So after a while of braiding, you're going to have a nice looking start, a length of braid, and a couple of feet remaining in your ends. For now, grab your snap hook, feed it bottom up, like this, and arrange a nice looking handle. So let's say, in our case, something like this. We're now going to secure our handle into place by working our 8 ends into our braid. Each end is going to follow a different strand in the braid, effectively doubling it up. We're going to begin with the front 2 ends. The right one is going to follow this strand here, so traveling under this green section from right towards the left. The left end is going to travel under the seam section from left towards the right, again doubling up a strand. So these are 2 ends of the secondary color. We do the other ones in the same color as well. So these 2 went under the green section. These 2 are going to go under the red section. So this one just above. The right end from right towards the left. The left one from left towards the right. So this takes care of the strands of the secondary color. Next, let's do these 2, which are going to follow the red strands in our braid. So this right one travels here from right to left. The left one is going to travel from left towards the right. Finally, our last 2 strands are going to travel through the center of our braid so again on top of the strands of the same color. Remove the handle out of your disc, tighten everything up, then we're going to continue. We're going to tie a Footrope knot with these 4 ends. In order to tie a Footrope knot, I'm going to bring these 2 ends to the same level as these 2. So, I'm going to work them in a bit deeper back here. Let's say under here. And under here. We now tie a double Footrope knot. We begin with a crown knot. Then grab your first end, pass it under the next one like this, then double up this strand on the inner side. So you simply travel alongside the strand under this strand here. We grab the next end, do the same thing. So under the next end, then double up this strand on the inner side. Again, traveling under one here at the top. Grab the third end, this time traveling under two of our ends here. Then again, double up this strand on the inner side. Traveling under one here at the top. Out of these two ends, grab the outer one, pass it over these two strands here, then under here, so essentially under two, bringing your strand right next to the last undoubled strand at the top. Double it up on the inner side, traveling under two here at the top. So this completes the top part of our double Footrope knot. Now grab each end, double up this strand here at the bottom, and travel up through the center of the knot. Do the same thing with the next end. Again with the next end. And the same thing with the last of our ends. Our knot is now tied. To tighten it up, we start with the strands coming into the knot out of our braid. We pull the slack through the knot. Into the ends. We do this with all four of our ends. So this is one pass of tightening. The knot already looks quite good. Do another pass if you so choose. Again, starting at the strands coming into the knot, going through the knot into the ends. After 2 passes of tightening, in my opinion, the ends are ready to be trimmed. After tying the double footrope knot, we're going to secure the remaining 4 ends by tying a decorative knot. So we have our handle, the double footrope knot, then this gaucho style decorative knot. Attach a rubber band over your leash, as well as over the 4 ends used to tie our final decorative knot. Then proceed by tying a wall knot. Grab an end, pass it under the next end. Grab the next end, pass it under the next end. Grab the next end, pass it under the next end, and grab your final end, pass it into the opening created by the first end. Tighten up a tiny bit. Then move the 4 ends to the right side. Grab an end, weave it through your 4 strands, starting over, under, over, under. Grab the next end, again travel diagonally alongside the previous end, doing the same sequence. So, over, under, over, under. So you can see that my ends are finishing one here, the next one under here, and so on. So grab the next end, again travel diagonally alongside the previous end, doing the same sequence. Over, under, over, under. The last of our ends, again diagonally alongside the previous end, over, under, over, under. So each end finishes its sequence under a strand here on the left. So this one here, this one here, this one here, this one here. We're now on the left side. Grab an end, pass it under the next end, then travel parallel to this strand here. So over, then under, over, under, over. So parallel to this strand here. Then grab the next end, repeat under the next end, then parallel to this strand. So again, over, under, over, under, and over. Grab the next end, again under the next end, then parallel to this strand. So over, under, over, under, and over. Grab the last remaining end. Here, our first end has already been used. Travel under it, then alongside the strand like before. So over, under, over, under, over on the right. We're now super close to finishing up our knot. Grab one of the ends, start a sequence from right to left, of under 2, over 2, all the way to the left. So we start here on the right, going under 2, under this bite, and under the next end. So under 2, then over 2, under 2, over 2, under 2, over 2, here on the left. Then simply grab the next end, repeat. So under 2, so under the bite, and the next end, which in this case has already been used. So under 2, over 2, under 2, and so on. The next end, so this one here, again under a bite, and the next end, which has again already been used. Under 2, then over 2, under 2, and so on. And finally, the last of our ends. Under a bite, under an end, which has already been used. So under 2, over 2, under 2, and so on. Now our ends are on the left. All we need to do is secure them under the knot. So let's say this end is going to finish its sequence over 2, passing over this end here, coming out of the braid, then under the knot. The next end, again, over 2, passing over an end coming out of the braid, then under the knot all the way to the right. The next end, over 2, over an end, coming out of the braid, under the entire knot, to the right. Our final end, again, over 2, over an end coming out of the braid, all the way to the right. At this point, we have tied a beautiful decorative knot. The first thing that we're going to do is cut this rubber band, removing it out of the knot. To tighten up the knot, you start at the ends coming into the knot, you pull the slack through the entire knot, then you pull the slack into the ends. Do this with all 4 ends. Going through the knot, into the ends. So we're going to be doing this for a while until we have removed enough slack out of the knot. So after a while of adjusting our knot, it's going to get quite tight. It's now time to do the finishing touches on our leash. Now for the finishing touches. First, we're going to trim the 8 ends, as close to the knots as possible. Optionally, push your ends a bit under the knot. Continue by rolling this knot under a plank. When it looks good, the final finishing touch is to stretch out your braid, making it a bit more consistent. And there's our leash. So guys, this concludes our tutorial on the Kara Yatsu kumihimo dog leash. This one, in my opinion, looks great. It's not the easiest to do, especially the last decorative knot. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. For now, thank you for joining me and see ya next time.